Mosaic patterns are complex, intricate, and they may look a bit daunting to tackle. Honestly, I'm going to tell you otherwise. While they look really complex, they are way easier to create than you think. So let's get to it. If you want to recreate exactly what I'm doing here, you're going to need two things from my website. First is the Seaside Sunrise palette, which is the one you can see on my screen right now. And the second one is the distressed texture. You do not have to get them. If you have your own textures, your own palettes you want to use, that's completely fine. But if you would like to get them, they are linked down below. Your first step here is going to go to the wrench icon, to Canvas, Drawing Guide, Edit Drawing Guide. Then you're going to go to Symmetry and choose the option Radial. If you need to, you can change the color of your guides at the top. In my case, I'm just happy with regular black. But if you think another color would be easier for you, please choose the one you like best. Make sure the assisted drawing is toggled on and you can click done. You're going to want to make sure that your layer comes with the little assisted under the name of the layer. That means the radial symmetry will apply to your canvas. For this specific style, I would highly suggest that you choose a textured brush. If you want to use a smooth one, that's totally fine. But I feel like adding this extra texture element really gives personality to your drawing. Oberon, here you can see is in my custom brushes, but the base one is a classic Procreate brush. You can find it under the drawing brush collection right in Procreate. The only reason I'm picking mine from another collection is because I have adjusted it to my drawing style. So if you need to make any adjustments to be comfortable with the brush, please do so. Take your time. And once you're ready, we can get started. So you're going to select the color of your choice, and we're going to start by drawing a pattern without touching the center. The center will have its own pattern with another color. If you're not used to the radial symmetry, just take the time to draw a few lines to figure out how everything works, how it reacts. And once you're ready, we're going to start by creating a swirl. Then we're going to draw a little pattern here. All right, I'm happy with this base pattern here. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of flourishing here. All right, I am quite happy with that. So you're going to create a new layer for your second color. Make sure to tap on it and toggle on your drawing assist. Select your second color and let's create a center for our design. In my case, I'm going to make this flower. I think that's what I'm going to go for here. Now that we're happy with our flower, you're going to group your two layers, make it a bit smaller and center it. You're going to see why we are doing this in a minute. Now that you're happy with the centering of your piece, you're going to duplicate your orange flower 4 times and drag each of these 4 in its corner of the canvas. Make sure that you see the 2 orange lines. That means you're perfectly centered to the corner. Let's do this for every other flower. Okay, so now we can merge our orange section. Now we are going to hide orange layer and we're going to create a new one. Make it assisted as well. And now you have the choice of either continuing with the orange or using a third color, which is what I'm going to do. We're going to create a new pattern right here. I'm going to create a different style of flower. Now that you're happy with your yellow or other orange flower, we're going to make it smaller. That will just allow for the pattern to fit better. So we're going to duplicate it only 3 times because the center one will not stay there. And we're going to bring each to the sides, top and bottom of our canvas. You can always adjust the size of the flower if you feel like you don't want things to overlap like mine does. This is totally up to you at this point. Then we can toggle back on our orange layer. You can keep your tile this way, but if you feel like it could get more detailing, we can always go back to our teal layer and add detailing on the corners, which is what I'm going to do. Keeping the same brush, I'm just going to create a new layer, make sure it is assisted. I'm going to add a few dots. I'm going to add a few here as well. And let's say a new one here. I'm going to add a bit thickness to this one. So once you're happy with your tile, you can duplicate your group, hide the first one, and flatten the second one. This is going to be the base to our pattern. Now you're going to choose a background layer, which you're going to apply to a new layer under your mosaic pattern. In my case, I'm going to go with this very, very light blue. And I think that looks lovely. First, before we add the texture, we're going to test our repeat. To do so, you're going to duplicate your mosaic layer 3 times and bring each to its quarter of the canvas. Now we can toggle off the drawing guides just so we can make sure that there is no separation in the middle, which is what we have right now. So we can undo this and we are going to add one new layer here. This is the point where you're going to choose your seamless texture and apply it to your whole design. So just go ahead and add either the file or the photo of your seamless texture. Make sure it fills the whole canvas, and we're going to duplicate it and apply a new one over our mosaic. This one we're going to take and rotate by 90 degrees, just so the texture is not exactly the same everywhere you look, while it still stays seamless. What is super cool about this texture is since it is grayscaled and adjusted, it means you do not need one texture for every color, as you can adjust it to your liking every single time. How we do this is we're going to create a new layer and you're going to choose a color a bit darker from the ones you use for your background. And you're going to create a new full canvas layer. Now we are going to set this here to overlay on our texture. So as you can see, you get your texture, but instead of being a deep gray, it is this nice blue. If you want to, you can experiment with deeper blues or lighter ones. In this case, I like this one better since it has a bit more contrast. And then once you're happy with it, you're going to merge it down. Then we're going to clip it to our mosaic and set it to multiply. Then you can play around with the opacity so it is to your liking. And we are going to do the same thing for our background. So set the color over it, apply it as an overlay, merge with the texture, set the texture to multiply, and adjust the opacity to your liking. If you're still not quite happy with the background, you can either restart that step with your texture or you can make your background color a bit different. In my case, I want my background color to be a bit lighter. I'm going to lower the opacity of my texture, and we have a textured background to our mosaic. Once you're ready, you can group everything together, duplicate that group, toggle off the bottom one, and flatten the top one. For our final pattern reveal, we're going to duplicate this 3 times and bring each of your copies to its quarter of the canvas. So here you have it. You have a finished mosaic pattern ready to apply to your favorite products, whether that is stationery, clothing, or any print on demand product you would like. You can add it to spoon flower, you can add it wherever you like. And this technique really allows for a lot of creativity, new colors, new textures. So I hope you had fun with this easy tutorial. And yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Please hit the subscribe and a like if you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will catch you guys next week.